right. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us this evening. Hi, G Clubbers. And I'm doing this as sort of a dual recording. So hello to all the G Clubbers, but also hello to all the Breakthrough podcasters, because I'm going to use the audio of this for a podcast episode as well. So we're just going to give a couple of minutes for everyone to jump in and get the notification to join the live. So while we're waiting for everyone to jump in, let us know you're here, say hi, maybe drop us an emoji, tell us how you guys are doing. And just to tell you a little bit about what the session is about, guys. So we've got majority of the coaches and mentors of G Club on this live call tonight. Unfortunately, Natalie couldn't join us for the live call, but she will be joining the watch party. So she will be in the comments and giving some advice and guidance in there as well. But what this session is about, guys, we're all finding ourselves in a time that is very difficult for a lot of people. And, you know, even us as coaches who should have a lot of the answers are struggling to navigate through certain things. I mean, there's no textbook that could have prepared anyone for what is happening in the world right now and what we've been facing since last year when lockdown hit and COVID-19 hit globally. So what this session is about, guys, is this is a laser live breakthrough coaching session. You have got coaches and mentors, not just on this live call, guys, but on this group, there are several mentors and coaches that are life coaches, cognitive behavioral specialists, even fitness trainers, you name it. We've got a whole bunch of people on here that are here to guide you. So please don't be afraid or ashamed to post a question. So if there's something you're struggling with right now, we've had a couple of people send in their questions for tonight. But if you missed the call, if someone just invited you, then just drop a question and one of us will answer that for you in the comments. So if you're struggling with something, you need guidance on something, go for it, drop a comment. But first, start off by saying, how's it? Tell us where you're from, and just drop us an emoji to say how you guys are doing. So just before we jump in, guys, if you feel there's someone you know that would benefit from this session, please just look at the bottom of your screen. There's an invite button. Invite them to the live watch party right now. They're going to thank you for it later, because not everyone has access to coaches and mentors that can help guide them through a situation. And why I say that all of us on this call, I mean, we learn from each other as well, right, girls? We often coach and mentor each other, because even coaches need coaches. We also often find ourselves in situations where we're stuck because we're on the inside of the situation. So even us, we have mentors and coaches that guide us and help us navigate through situations that we might face in our lives. So give someone the benefit of this coaching session and invite them now. So let's jump right in. Welcome to everybody that said hi. Great to have you guys here. So just to tell you, if you're new on this group or someone just invited you, my name is Mickey Roothman, and I am a coach, a speaker, and an author. And what I do is transformational breakthrough coaching. But I also specialize in NLP. I use NLP. I use cognitive behavioral therapy. And I specialize in looking at human behavior and the human mind. In other words, who we are, why we do the stuff we do, why we react the way we react. And I teach and coach on that kind of stuff to help you transform your life using that, but from a spiritual perspective. In other words, from the perspective of who are you really as a human being? How does your mind work? How does your body work? And what are you here to do? So that isn't who I am. Who I am is quite a quirky person. I love to have fun. I live in Cape Town. I'm not a mom, but I am also a daughter and a friend. So yeah, that is what I do. That's not who I am. It's not my identity, but that is me, and I'm here to serve you tonight. And the next person who's going to introduce herself is Elizma Morgenrood. Elizma, please tell them who you are and what you do.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Mickey, for that. And I do appreciate, I just want to say, I do appreciate each and every one of you jumping on this call and being here with us. We really, really appreciate all of you. So my name is Elizma Morgenrood, and I'm from a very small town in South Africa in the Northwest Province called Stella. So I'm a transformational coach, and I help women to find their voice and to know their worth, so that the moment when you can do that as a woman, you can truly empower your whole family, because it's very important for me, so that each and every woman do what she loves and she loves what she do. And so for me, that's very, very important things to do. So that is my introduction quickly. Just over to Mariette.
Hello, guys. I'm Mariette Strauss. I'm actually I was actually in the financial profession. I was also retrenched in December. And yeah, so currently I think I'm a full-time job seeker. And yeah, so I actually am somebody that always loved giving people compliments and assisting my friends when they have bad situations by giving them advice. And I believe to be there for your friends and then actually just to help them and assist them and actually share your heart with them and just actually get them to be in a better place. And sometimes just by listening to them, you actually help them quite a lot.
Yeah, and if I can just mention, both of these ladies are mommies as well. So even though I'm not a mommy, if you're a mommy or a daddy out there, your parents, both these ladies are going to be able to assist you tonight as well. So again, welcome to everyone. We're going to jump straight in, guys, on this live session. So we asked you guys to send us some questions, just to kind of tell us what is it that you are struggling with right now, or perhaps situations that you find yourselves in that you don't know how to navigate your way through. So guys, if we don't read the question that you sent in to us before this session, please do listen to the rest of the questions, as well as the mentoring that we're going to give and the coaching that we're going to give, because a lot of these things apply to more than one thing. And you're really going to still find something of value, and that's going to help you to transform and have your breakthrough. So I'm going to jump in on the first question, ladies, and I'm just going to read for you what it says. And I'm going to keep this anonymous because we did say that the people who email will keep anonymous. And I just want to say something on that, guys. It is great. We understand why you want to remain anonymous, perhaps with your situation that you're in. But, you know, I just want to tell you that as a coach and also as a human being who's also experiencing everything that's going on around us right now, you know, I think the biggest thing that we struggle with as people is the fact that we have shame around going through hard times. And, you know, social media has contributed to that quite a lot, because most of the photos that we see out there, everyone's lives are always looking perfect. And trust me, they're not. And I want to just encourage you to share what you are going through. Speak to someone, not just because it's going to give you an outside perspective on whatever situation you're in, but also, guys, isolating yourself from others, not speaking to someone and not sharing what you are going through. The thing is, if you had to share what you were going through, I promise you 100 other people are going to say, thank God somebody else too, because I am going through exactly the same thing, or I'm going through something similar. And I think we need to get to a point where we as people really start sharing the good and the bad, because none of us have perfect lives. I don't know about you girls. My life isn't always smooth sailing and just going great. So I want to encourage you guys, that is what this group is for. Share. If you are stuck, if you are struggling with something, post on this group. There's some amazing humans on this group, professionals and non-professionals who have been walking the personal development and growth journey for a while, that can and will support you, help you, encourage you in some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to dive in, girls. So here's the first email that we got from Anonymous that says, my husband and I both lost our jobs halfway through the first lockdown. We have 3 small kids, and we have now also lost our cars, our home, and most of our belongings. We now have to move to my husband's father's house. I am in fear, and so is he. I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids, and I've been struggling to find a job because the job market right now is not conducive to what I do. How should I approach this? So, girls, I think this is something that a lot of people are going through and facing right now in some way, shape, or form, whether it is because of a job and money, but fear is something that a lot of people are facing. So I'm going to hand over to you girls first to give some advice, and then I'll jump in at the end of it.
Okay, Mickey. So I think first of all, the thing is with when we are stuck in fear, we sometimes cannot see any opportunity. And we also cannot think in a way that will actually lead us to find something else, because we stay in that emotion of fear. And we have learned that one of the best things to do is actually just trying to be grateful for something, even though at this moment people are feeling that they really do not have any single thing. Like, for instance, this couple, they don't have anything to be grateful for in this moment, in this situation. I think just the fact that they actually do have someone that they can now go to and that is giving them a house, in other words, they do have a place to go to. It's not that they're going to be out on the street, although it's still very frightening because they haven't been in this situation. But I think the quickest way to get out of fear is to have gratitude in the moment for things the way that it is now, and for things that they can see in their immediate circumstances. And also then just not to focus that much to holding on to, like, how can I say this? Wishing things would go back to the way that it was. If you hold on too long to the fact that you want things to go back to the way that it was, it's not going to. The world is changing. The job markets are changing so rapidly. We've seen so much things moving online and people working online rather than going back to work and all of those things. So I think just accepting the fact that this is now the new normal, and not having a fear of, I wish it would just go back to the way it was. That will immediately just give your mind a direction into now allowing it to rather see more opportunities that might present itself in the near future, either coming from other people or other people that want to support them. But when they get out of that state of fear, they will now be open to that.
Okay, since I've been in quite a similar position, I think in the beginning when I just found out that I'm also one of the unlucky few that are retrenched, I think the biggest thing is that you actually feel totally, because I don't think that any of us actually ever thinks that it will happen to us. And all of a sudden, you actually sit in a situation like me. I'm a single mother, so I only have my income. I don't have anybody else to support me. And although that I know that if I don't find a job within the time that I still have money to live from, I can go back to my parents. It is actually helpful to think about it, and you should be grateful for it. But I think where it comes from is you as a human being, as being an adult, being a parent, you actually feel like you've just actually become a failure. So all of a sudden, you feel ashamed that you've lost your job, although it wasn't something that you did incorrectly. So what I found, what really helped me was to deal with the fact that I don't need to feel guilty for losing my job, because it wasn't that I didn't pitch for work or that I did something wrong. So I could have actually just went to myself and say, you know what, it happened, but it wasn't your fault. So don't get yourself into a guilt trip. And what I'm doing now that really helps me is I go on a daily basis and I speak God's promises over myself. So I'm a believer of God, and that actually helped me to feel that there is hope for me. And I believe that whatever is happening to us, even if it doesn't look like it or feel like it right now, this will actually make us stronger, and it's actually a beginning of a new chapter. And I choose to speak life into my life now, and I choose to say that things will get better. And even if I have to go and live with my parents for a while, that actually I'm grateful for the fact that I know that me and my child will be safe and that we will have food to eat. It might not be what I prefer to eat, but it is something for now.
Wow, girls, I don't even know if I still have something to say, because you've pretty much said it all, and you've given some great advice. And you know, Mariette, I want to start with what you just said last now. You hit the nail on the head with something, and you said, you know, how it feels. And what I want to tell you, Anonymous, is it makes sense. Absolutely. The situation you're sitting in doesn't feel good. But I want you to ask yourself, how does it feel to continue thinking about that and worrying about that and fearing that and you know, building it up bigger and bigger in your head? It doesn't feel good, right? And Mariette, what you did there by speaking the promises of God over your life, or even just flipping it around by speaking more positively about your situation, you are going to feel better. And here's what happens physiologically in the mind and the body when you do that, guys, is the moment that you stop thinking those thoughts, you start feeling better, right? So the human mind, by the way, cannot focus on two things at once. You cannot find solutions to problems while you are focusing on and thinking about and talking about the problem, okay? It's not, your mind is incapable actually of thinking clearly and finding solutions in that scenario. So it isn't really serving you to continue thinking about it and talking about it, aside from the fact that it doesn't feel good to continually think about it and stay in that space of fear, right? And a lot of us tend to do that when we're going through something or a bad time. We phone everyone and we want to talk about it and we continually want to think about it and worry about it. And we're actually conditioned that when there is a problem in your life, you now need to figure out how to solve it. But the more you are thinking about the problem, the less you are going to be able to solve it. Your mind will not be able to think clearly, and it's not going to be able to find the solution. So the best thing to do is to start focusing on what is it that you do want. Instead of focusing on the situation that is what you don't want, start focusing on what it is that you do want. In other words, I want to feel better. I want to feel safe, and I want to feel secure, and I want to feel like, my whole life isn't being ripped apart. And, I know someone similar that's going through a similar situation right now as well. And my advice to you would really be, and I think, Elizma, you said something very similar along these lines, is to begin to view what is happening now, not as something being taken away from you or the end of something, but to start viewing this as a new beginning, as a fresh new start, okay? Because that already in the mind helps you to focus on new beginnings, new start, moving forward, as opposed to trying to hang on to whatever was, like Elizma said. And then the last thing I just want to say about this is that, we can only start transforming anything in our lives. And I can testify to this 100 times over, and I know Elizma can, and Mariette can, and many of our clients can, but if the only time that something can transform is when you accept what is. You can only begin to move forward when you stop resisting the what is right now and saying this shouldn't be happening, this is wrong, I don't want things to be like this, and you actually start focusing on how you do want it to be, and just accept what is, guys, because no amount of worrying about it or fear or talking about it is actually going to change the situation, right? So begin to just think more clearly, try to be more positive, and try to start focusing on what you do want. Move in the direction of the solution instead of focusing on what is happening right now and feeling bad about it and talking about it. So just one last thing that's coming to mind to say about this one is, we're in a time right now where everything has changed. Every single thing has changed. We're all working from home. Certain things that were really important to people in their lives are not important anymore at all, and vice versa. So whoever you are, Anonymous, you and your husband, both of you have talents and skills. I don't know what it is, whether it is that you are good at making jam, or you have this great recipe to make lasagna. Sit down and start looking at what you do have, the skills and the talents that you have. What are you good at? Because we're all good at something. So on a practical level, go see how you can perhaps either start doing that and selling it to people, but find ways that you can solve problems for people right now. In other words, if people, guys, there's a lot of mommies. Here's 2 mommies on this call that right now do not have the time to make food for their kids. If you can provide them with meals, then you've got income coming in, right? If you can even go online and keep those kids busy for an hour on mommy's behalf, then do that. But start thinking along the lines of what can I do? Because the more you focus on the solution will start to appear. You'll be able to think clearly, and you'll move out of fear as well. And here's the thing about fear, guys. Fear is not real, and the reason it is not real, you may have heard that before, but the reason it is not real is you have zero proof that which you think is going to happen, that is causing the fear. So whether it's be thoughts of, my life is never going to be the same, I'm never going to find a job again, am I going to have to live with my parents now forever? My kids think I'm a loser. Whatever you are telling yourself about it, the meaning you are giving this event, okay? You are busy telling yourself a story about it. And the fact of the matter is, none of that is true. And you don't have any proof that what is going to happen in the next hour even is going to happen. So that is what creates fear in the mind. Is either the familiar past, which is a similar experience in your past that's making you think the same thing's going to happen, or the unfamiliar future. That scares us because it feels unfamiliar to us. So try to be in the present as much as you can. And what Elizma said really works when you focus on being grateful for and thankful for, and just appreciating whatever is around you. And, you know, if you're not that person who has someone you can move to and you're busy losing your house and you've lost everything, you are still breathing. You still have something to be grateful for. You have a sound mind. You have so much happening for you right now. So when you focus on gratitude, you are in the present. So the more you're in the present, the easier it's going to be to find the solutions that you are looking for. So Anonymous, I hope that has helped you. Girls, is there anything else you want to say about this question before I move on to the next question?
No.
No, everybody good. Right. Okay. So Anonymous, we hope that that's helped you. I'm going to move on to the next question, which I think is also something that the both of you can relate to perhaps, but yeah, I can in certain ways relate, but that I've found a lot of my clients are also kind of facing in this moment as well. So this is a single mommy who says that her boss doesn't seem to understand that she's a single mom who has 2 kids whom she did not bank on having at home for another month now with the school starting later in South Africa. And he keeps saying to her that she's not doing her work and she doesn't know how to prioritize her time, okay? Because it seems like I'm understanding that you are not making deadlines and things like that because of everything you've got to handle. So I think I'll jump in on this one, ladies, if that's okay with you. But you know, I've had a lot of clients who have similar issues, and the advice I want to give you, Anonymous, is firstly, I want to tell you that whoever your boss is or this person is that's telling you that right now, everybody is in fear. Everyone is in stress. I don't care if it's the CEO of the company. I don't care if it's someone who's a millionaire. Every single human being is facing change, and change scares the living daylights out of all of us, and all of us are uncertain. So firstly, have a little bit of grace with this person, because I'm telling you now, they are under pressure and stress, and it's being projected onto you right now. So that's the first thing I want to tell you is try not to make this about yourself, because when someone treats us that way and they don't understand, or we feel like we're misunderstood, it feels to us like when I'm not understood, somebody is telling me something and it means something about me. I'm useless, or I'm not good enough, right? Or I'm not valuable, or I'm not good at what I do. Whatever the story is you're telling yourself about it, firstly, change that story because it's not the truth. And secondly, have grace with and recognize that everybody's in fear and stress right now. And this person probably does not mean to make you feel horrible about that. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to say. Then the second thing I want to say to you is, on a practical level, I want you to, again, stop focusing on the details of the story and what is going on right now, because the details of the story is, I'm a mom, I'm a single mom, and I've only got 2 hands, and I've got these 2 kids, and I've got to keep them busy, and I've got work to do, and I need my job because I need the money. That's the details of the story, and you are staying in that cycle and in that loop and causing yourself more fear and stress by continuing to tell yourself that story and focusing on the details of the story. So what I want you to do is to yank yourself out of the details of the story and turn inward and ask yourself, how does this make you feel? Because that's really what's going on here. This situation is making you feel a certain way. In other words, it's either making you feel useless, it's making you feel stressed, it's making you feel fear, right, of losing your job perhaps. But identify how this is making you feel, and then deliberately choose thoughts and actions that are going to make you feel better. Reach for something that feels better. Rather, just like you would comfort your kids. If your kid came running in and said to you, they were in tears and they said to you, Mommy, I'm not coping with schoolwork. My friends are nasty to me, whatever. How would you treat that child? Is my question, right? You're not going to tell your child to bugger off and suck it up because they're useless and they don't know how to manage their time, and not everybody's nasty, right? You're going to actually tell your child, my baby, don't worry, don't stress. You know what? Everybody's having a tough time right now. You are an amazing human and you know how to manage your time. You can learn how to do it better, but you're doing great. Just keep pushing on, right? So why is it that we speak to ourselves in that horrible manner? So I want you to focus on what it is you are saying to yourself about this, because your self-talk is what's making this worse. So are you busy building yourself up in this situation, or are you beating yourself up? Because trust me, the person who said this to you and made you feel this way, which by the way, no one can make you feel a certain way. It's just what we tell ourselves about it that makes us feel a certain way. But that person cannot beat you up as much as you are busy beating yourself up over this. So I want you to really focus on you right now, focus on loving yourself, having grace with yourself, and really just comforting yourself like you would a child. The best way, guys, to yank yourself out of a situation is to ask yourself, if this was my child or my best friend or somebody else coming to me with the same problem, what is the advice I would give them about it? Because it's going to yank you out of that freak out mode and really help you to think clearly about the situation, right? And guess what? If you then do decide to go and speak to your boss to explain your situation, you are going to speak from a lot less of an emotional standpoint, and you're actually going to get through to that person. They're actually going to hear you and understand your heart instead of the emotion that's behind it, okay? And then just on a practical level, guys, what I just want to say about that is, you know, a lot of people are finding it hard to manage their time right now. And I work with a lot of corporates as well. But what I do want to say to anyone who is a manager, who's a business owner, who is in leadership, guys, right now is not the time for us to be brave and big mouth and have ego and all of that stuff. We really need to start moving more towards an empathic leadership model, because here's the thing, guys, you have never, ever been in the situation where you are in your employee's house, and you literally are in their house. We're in your houses right now because you're jumping on Zoom calls with them. We've never been in a situation where work and private life has been so intertwined that we actually don't know what the difference is right now, right? So we're further apart from each other because we're having to social distance, but we're so much closer in the sense that we are now intertwined in each other's personal lives. And there's a reason for that. You've got to become more humane, guys, as a leader, because if you are just phoning and checking up on, is this done? Is that done? Have you met this deadline? Instead of at least once a week, phoning your staff and saying, how are you doing? Are you coping? Is there something you need? Is there something that we as a company, or me as your leader, your boss, can help you with to make your job a little bit easier right now? Because things are different, guys. We are not in a work environment right now. We are not in the office where it's 8 to 5, and we have a lot of distractions around us, right? Every single one of us, including the leaders, guys. So if you are a leader, I really, really want to just press on your heart and say, become more empathic. And the way you're going to do that is, you are in the same situation. You are also suddenly at home, having to work from home, perhaps facing certain challenges and trying to look like the strong one in front of the rest of your staff. But be more empathic. Try to support them in whatever shape you can. And for you who's working from home, the best advice I can give to you on a practical level is start structuring your day in the same way you would if the kids were at school or if you were at work. And what I mean by that is, if at school they have an hour period and then they're going to change classes, then make them sit for an hour and do their work, and then let them walk for 5 minutes, because they would have done that anyway if they were at school. If they have a specific time that it is lunchtime at school, pre-pack their lunches for them. Kitchen is not open all day. Mommy's not available all day to make food for you. Pre-pack that lunch like you would if they're going to school, okay? Put it in the fridge. When lunchtime hits, disposer, we all know what that is in Afrikaans. It is break time now. Go have your lunch and then continue with your school day. So get them back into that structure and the timelines, because your kids are just as confused about everything that's going on right now. And the same for you. If you normally get up at a certain time, start work at a certain time, in other words, you get to work a certain time and you finish a certain time, or you take tea breaks at certain times, try to stick to that same routine as much as possible, because what's happening now is your routine is out. It is confusing you. It's going to make you feel like you're all over the place, right? But try to stick to your routine as much as you can. Okay, so Anonymous, that is my advice that I've got for you on that one. Ladies, I'm handing over to you guys.
Okay. I think as a single mother as well, I think the most important thing that you can do is to be honest with your children, to actually sit them down and explain to them that this is unfortunately now your working time, and come up with solutions together, maybe to see if there is something where you can maybe give them a coloring in task to do, or something to do, even if you have to put on some stories for them. Although they say that you shouldn't let your children watch too much TV and all of that, it is a tool that is really helpful. That is something that if I really don't have the time to spend with my child, that's what I do with her, is I tell her, like, you know what, unfortunately, this is now what I need to do, and I need you to keep yourself busy. And if there's really an emergency, you're more than welcome to call me, and I will be there to assist you. But the two of us really need to work together as a team. And I think a lot of us don't always rely on our children and explain to them the situation. And if they understand it, they will actually totally agree and help you. And I think that is just something that you have to think about, is just to actually be honest with them. Maybe also what you can do is try to do your work earlier, even if you have to wake up a little bit earlier, just to get that head start, so that when the children are awake and that they need you, that you have a little bit more time available for you. That is what my suggestion would be for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you, Mariette. I think the important thing is really, if children are at an age where you can talk to them and, tell them and sit them down and structure your routine together, it's going to help you really a lot. And also getting up a little bit earlier, maybe to get things done, will definitely also be up. But also, I think one of the things, because I know sometimes for me, I get lost in time, especially if I don't set timers. So if you have children that, I know one of my kids is, they really want to spend like incremental. They don't want a lot of time. They just want like 10 minutes of like, I need to sit with him. So I would tell them to come and look at our watch, and I'll give them a certain time when I will be finished, and then I will set an alarm for that time. That then I will stop what I'm doing, and then I will go to them, and then I will give my attention to them, so that they still feel that I am in the house, I am in the home with them. But and now I'll go with them, and sometimes they don't really want you present maybe for that long of a time. They just need that a little bit of attention for a while, and then you give that undividedly, so that they know they get your attention without the distraction of being at work, and they won't come and ask you when are you finished, because they do know that there's a certain time that you will be finished with that. So definitely reminders have helped me a lot. So I set them all the time, so that I don't get lost in like how much time do I do spend, and that also helps me to be a little bit more productive as well.
And just something that comes to mind now as well is, if you are in this situation, guys, so you might have kids that are teenagers, you might have kids that are very, very young, but I want to encourage you to do a couple of things. The first is, especially you as a single mommy, how much time are you sewing into you? I agree with Mariette, get up earlier in the morning, but first thing in the morning, I don't want you to look at your emails or your social media or your anything like that. I really want you to spend the first half an hour at least of the morning on you, so into you, whether it is that you're going to take a long bath, whether it is that you just sit and meditate, whatever you do, but sow into yourself. Because here's the thing, if you start your day sowing into everybody else and meeting everybody else's needs, you get more frustrated. You actually have resentment towards yourself, and that then spills over into everything. It spills over into your relationship with your kids. It spills over into your work. It's going to make you less productive because you've constantly got this subconscious resentment towards almost yourself and towards the fact that everybody else's needs are being met and not yours. So I want to really ask you, be sure that you practice self-love and self-care as well, even if it is just for the first half an hour of the day before your kids even get up. Don't drink wine in that half an hour. It does feel like self-love and self-care, but it's not a good idea to do that first thing in your workday. But you know what I mean, guys. So that's the first thing I want to say. And then the second thing I just want to mention to you is, you know, our kids are also in a very, very unique situation. The kids are stressed, guys. They are asking questions. The older kids don't understand what's going on right now, right? And the younger kids even less. They just think it's holiday all the time. And mommy's home and daddy's home and it's fun now. So I agree with what Elizma said and what Mariette said is find ways to communicate to your kids. But the one thing I please want to ask you not to do, especially if you have kids between the ages of 2 and 7 years old, but even if they're older, they are not the grown-ups, guys. And as a coach, I want to tell you that a lot of the programming we have today, the fears we sit with today, the beliefs we have about money, about work, about how things work in this world comes from our upbringing. It comes from the people that sowed into our lives, our parents, teachers, society, the media, you name it, those things. So I want to please ask you to be cognizant of not saying things to your children like, mommy's got to work right now because I have to feed you. I have to earn money to make sure you stay alive, because a child cannot process that, guys. They are not in a space where they can understand really what you're saying. They are just hearing, oh my God, this is the programming I'm getting, is I'm going to have to work my ass off the rest of my life. Otherwise, I'm not going to survive and I'm going to die. Okay. So you're actually just putting pressure on your kids, and it's not something that they're able to process. And I don't think you want to pass those beliefs onto a child. So just be cognizant of having grown-up conversations almost with your kids, because they've got to understand this from a kid's perspective. So yeah, I don't know, ladies, if you have anything to say about that, but that's just two things I want to add to this one. You guys good? Nothing to add?
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So we're going to move on to the last question, guys. And this is also an interesting one that I think even the first question we had can listen to some of the answers here. But this person said, I wanted to start my own business before lockdown. I never wanted to work for a boss, but then lockdown happened and I had to stay in the job I'm at because, sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. I had to stay in the job I have because starting a business is not the right time right now. But I'm unhappy at work and still want to start my own business. What advice have you got for me? So, girls, what advice would you give here?
Okay, well, first of all, I would say that although you feel that it's not the right time now, I think in any way, to build a business actually takes a lot of time, and it takes some time before you will be actually able to take out your salary out of your, or to fulfill your salary with the income that you will make from the company. So I would suggest by starting to do that on a part-time basis, maybe after work, and then actually start building it up. And I would definitely ensure that I'll have a year's of salary within an investment account or something, where if something goes wrong and you don't have sufficient income from your business, that you actually know that you have sufficient savings that you can use. And then never give up on your dreams. I mean, even if you feel that it's not right now, it doesn't really matter. Just actually hold on to that and start working into progress on to becoming your own employer. And then, yeah, that would be the best thing to do. And maybe for now, see what skills you actually need that you can maybe now invest into yourself. You know, maybe do a short course or get a bit more feel on how to use social media, because I think to actually now start selling your business on a social media platform would be grateful. And there's a lot to learn, and this can actually now give you that extra time to work on your business and to know exactly what you want to do and enhance your skills. That's what I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I absolutely agree, Mariette. I think one of the big things for me is I also found myself a while back in a job that that I felt that I wasn't happy with. And then one of the things that my mentor has taught me is that you still need to be grateful for the job, because it's still now giving you a monthly salary, and it's something that you now can use to sow into the business that you really want to create. And also, it's true, you shouldn't give up. If that's the thing that you really want to do, you should rather look for opportunities to do that on the sideline in order to grow it as on the side until it gets big enough so that it replaces your salary, and then you can go in full time. And then also the fact that when you're stuck with feeling that you hate your job, it creates a feeling inside of you, and then that feeling is something that is going to pull you in a negative direction, just because you're going to sit in a place where I don't want this job, I want my business, but it's going to keep you moving backwards rather than forward. So that's why it is important to breed a habit of, you know what, I'm thankful for the job that I have because it is now funding the business that I want to build. So I think that would be something practical, just a step that I would say, just add that, but definitely never give up and go for it at your own pace. So.
Geez, both you ladies should do business coaching, because that's great practical advice that you guys gave there. So for Anonymous who sent this question, and to anyone else out there who feels the same way, you want to start your own business, the first thing I want to say is, whether it's a friend or even a coach, if anyone ever says to you, take the leap, just dive, just do it, okay? Please fire them or tell them to go somewhere else, because that is the worst advice anyone can ever give you. As a coach and also a business coach, guys, I used to do business coaching, I still do sometimes, but if anyone ever tells you that, that's the worst advice they can give you, because all that is doing is putting you in survival mode, because now it's not just you starting your dream business. This is now becoming my cash cow, that because of your past programming as a child in society, if I don't make this work, then I am going to be out on the street. I'm not going to have food. I'm going to be whatever else you're telling yourself about it. So you're putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself by doing that. So I absolutely agree with both the ladies who said, don't give up on your dream, but also don't just take the leap right now. Okay. Just let things happen at a pace. And Mariette, that's actually good advice to say, make sure you have a year's salary or at least enough money to survive until this business happens for you or starts happening the way you want it to. But on more of a mental energy level, I want to talk a little bit about this one, because here's the thing. So most of us right now, most of us are brought up, we spoke in the previous question about our programming we have as kids, right? And we were all programmed as kids that you have to firstly work your ass off to be successful and to make money. Okay. It doesn't come easy. Those are the beliefs we were given about money by society, by our parents, our mentors, our teachers, everybody. And 9 out of 10 times you were told that thing that you love doing, whatever is your passion, you can never be successful at that, or you can never make money doing that. Okay. So what did you do? You went and studied something, or you went into a job that you're going to make money with, right? I mean, in my day, if you didn't have the marks to become a lawyer or a doctor or anything like that, where you're going to make a shitload of money, you either became a beautician or you became a, flight attendant, okay? That was the next best thing to do, because you weren't going to make the big bucks, but at least you could have a lekker job, okay? So for those of you who don't know, I went and studied health and beauty. I studied to be a beautician. I never did it. Thank God. I halfway through the course realized that that's not what I want to do with my life, and I felt unfulfilled. So what is the biggest reason most people don't go after their dreams and try to make a successful career out of that? Is 100% because of your own limiting beliefs that have been handed to you since you were a kid, right? Because we've heard it our whole lives. Society even tells us that you cannot be successful. You cannot dance for a living and make thousands of rands and be successful at that? How many dancers do you know that's actually making money? There are some, right? How many people do you know that are making money being speakers? How many people do you know that are making money just doing what they love? So not getting too technical on the energy side here, guys, and the NLP side of it, of your programming that you've had as a child. But what I want you to do, even Oprah Winfrey says, if you follow your why, if you do that thing for a living that switches you on, that gets you happy, that just absolutely, you can't wait to wake up every morning just to do it, the rest will come. That means the clients, the money, the fame, the success, the whatever you're looking for will come. So firstly, I agree with the ladies in saying that be grateful for the job you have right now, but everything in our lives, every single job I've ever had, guys, I could never have anticipated how all of that stuff would tie into what I'm doing today. I have had clients where I had to understand how BEE works, right? I had a job where I had to understand how BEE works yonks ago. I was young. I didn't have any interest in it. But now today, I'm so grateful for that stopover in my life, right? So whatever job you're in right now might not be your end destination, but ask yourself, what is this the catalyst to? What can I learn in my current job that is going to help me going forward? And I want to tell you that companies are a lot more open right now because of all the changes that have happened and things that need to change in all the companies and people working remotely. A lot of companies are more open right now, even if you are in an admin position right now. If you have a desire to get involved in project management, marketing, nobody in your company is going to stop you if you go to them and say to them, I know that I'm in admin, but I want to learn more about social media or marketing, even if it's after hours or I've got to put in more time. They're not going to say no. If you tell them, please let me handle the next project, whether it even is to organize the next team motivational session online or something fun for the team to do together remotely or whatever, but at least start thinking about and moving in the direction of what it is you desire to do and what it is you enjoy, right? Because firstly, you're going to learn something. And secondly, you're going to have a heck of a lot more fun in what you're doing right now while you are building your business. So I really want to encourage you to, even if you have to, firstly, make a list of positive aspects about the job you have right now. Okay, whether it is that you've got nice flexible hours, you've got an awesome boss, you like your colleagues, you like your clients, whatever it is, find at least 5 to 10 positive aspects about the job, stuff you like about the job you have right now, and then start looking at how can I begin to, in this position, in this company, move in the direction of where I want to go. And then be patient with yourself. Be patient and start building your business on the side. It will happen for you. Guys, this is going to flip your mind. And I actually want, Elizma, you've recently been through this and you know this, Mariette. So I hope you're going to apply this soon now in your situation as well. But this is going to sound to you like I'm talking BS, but I'm proof of it. Elizma's proof of it. There's so many other people we know that are proof of it. And I'm going to tell you how to find proof of it just now as well. But you know what cultivates success? And the riches and the whatever else you're looking for that to go along with that is not the hard work. It's not the strategy. Yes, all of that stuff contributes to it. It is having fun while doing it. In other words, having fun while creating it, loving what you do, really putting that excitement and that energy of creativity behind it. So just have fun building your business. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It's the journey, right? And that is actually what's going to attract more clients and the right people and the ways for you to build that business to you. The hard work will help. The strategy will help. All of that stuff's going to help. But it is about having fun. So just make sure that whatever you do, you're having fun doing it. So I hope that has given you a couple of things to think about and that you're really going to pursue your passion, because your why is really what's going to drive you. That's what gets you up in the morning, right? Is that thing that just says, I want to do this. I love doing this. And it's exciting, right? So that's my advice for you. I hope that has helped you. And ladies, we're getting to the end of the session. We don't want to make it too long. So before we go, I just quickly want to ask you if you have any advice at this time for the guys on the group. I mean, we're all going through, most of us are going through tough times, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, with everything that's going on. Just a couple of minutes, just talk about what is your top advice. I'm going to ask Mariette to go first, and then Elizma, then I'll go last. But just what is your advice right now? How can you encourage people at this time, the guys on the group?
Well, first of all, I think what really is something that helps me when I'm in doubt and when I'm in a difficult situation is definitely just to know that there is a better tomorrow, and just hold on to what you have. Have a look to see what there is currently in your life that you can be grateful for, and actually sit down and make a list. And what I've also seen in my own life is that where something really seemed like everything is falling apart, it was actually falling into place. And it didn't feel like it at that point, and I didn't know what was happening, and I was in so much doubt. But when I just actually gave it time, and when I actually looked back to it, and there was always something that I could be grateful for right at that stage, and something that would actually have a better solution or a better solution at the end. And it actually turned out a lot better than what I thought it would be. And for that, I'm actually grateful to know that it takes hardship and a lot of trouble in your life to get you to be where you should be. And you need all of that advice and all of that experience that you go through to create a better life and a better version of yourself. And I think the one thing that all of us should just actually do in this time is just to actually be kind to ourselves, and to actually really see how far we have become, how far we've come. And I think that is something that we actually lose a touch of. We always tend to see everything that we do wrong, everything that is bad in our lives. But whereas we just take a step back sometimes and really see how much you have grown in the past few years, just keep on talking positive to yourself, and just believe that whatever is happening to you right now, it will give you a better future, and it will definitely enhance the person that you are. Be kind to you and be kind to everybody around you.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So I definitely agree. So for me, the big thing is, I think, make a decision. Decide and make a decision and a commitment to yourself that you are not going to give up, and you are not going to allow yourself to focus on the negative that much. If you find that maybe you focus too much on the negative, give yourself a timer. Say, okay, 5 minutes every day I'm allowed to feel this way, and then when the timer hits stop and the countdown has got to 0, then just stop. Just make a decision that you're going to commit to thinking and feeling and looking for the things that you can be grateful for, and looking for the opportunities rather than staying stuck at the place of fear and doubts and resentment. And also, I feel that sometimes we all forget that nothing will be nothing will be so great as to walk you out so that you can never stand up again. You will always, everything that you already need in order to overcome all of these obstacles, it's already inside of you. And this situation right now is creating an environment where you can go in deeper into yourself and bring that stronger, better version of yourself to the forefront that is already able and capable of overcoming that obstacle which you face right now. And make a decision that you are going to look and find that person inside of yourself, and you're not going to give up. And make a decision that you know that everything is happening for you, and you are going to celebrate each and every day that you are alive. You're going to celebrate the small things, the small movements, instead of waiting for, well, it isn't happening right now. So that would be my thing and moving forward into 2021.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. That was beautiful, both of you. So guys, I just want to start by saying that We spoke about a lot of things on here today, and I think fear, and a lot of that fear is fear of money that came through today. And I want to just sort of make a statement that I want you to chew on after you jump off of here. And that is the fact that we see money as our source, right? We see our job as our source. We see our boss as our source. We see our clients as our source. Your children probably see you as their source of the things that they need, right? But I want to remind you that money is not your source. It is just a resource. And the moment you flip that around in your head, if you don't see money as your source of the things you need, but as a resource, then it opens up more avenues and ways for the things you need to flow into your life in miraculous ways, guys. I don't want to dive too deep into that right now because that's not what we're about today. But I have seen several times that when I start realizing that that thing I need can come in any way, shape, or form, it actually comes in beautiful, wonderful ways when I don't block it off and say it has to come through my salary, or it has to come through my clients, or it has to come in certain ways. So that's just something I want to remind you of. And the second reminder I want to leave with you guys is that none of us sitting on this call, none of you out there are limitless, powerless little human beings trying to somehow have some or other little great spiritual experience here on earth. Every single one of you out there is a powerful, powerful spiritual being who is just having a human experience here on earth. And in our human experience, guys, while we are here, we do feel limited. Like I said on this call today as well, a lot of our limitations have been handed to us by people giving us the beliefs that we have about ourselves, about love, about life, about money, about success, about how things work around us. But at the end of the day, you get to choose. For me, free will is literally no matter what I am going through, what is happening in my life or my experience or in the world around me, I get to choose how I show up in that situation. I get to choose. Am I going to go through the situation in fear, in worry, in stress, in strife, right? Or am I going to flip that around and choose to go through it trusting that everything is happening for me, right? And that things will always work out the way it should. And that I am this powerful spiritual being who is connected to a higher power who loves me dearly. And guys, for every one of you out there, I want to remind you, you are deeply loved. You are so valued. You are so important. You are so supported and safe and secure. But you need to realize that. And I want you to actually feel what that feels like when you say that to yourself, because if you can just feel what it feels like, the moment you sit there and you tell yourself, I'm worthless, I'm nothing, things are not working out for me, that feels horrible, right? And like I said earlier on, the moment you can feel better is when you can think clearer and when the solutions and the things can flow into your experience. So I want to encourage you to just remember who you are. And who you are is not the story you've been telling yourself about it. It is not what somebody else is telling you about you or yourself. It is what you decide. So make the decision today to say, no matter what is happening around me, I choose to be happy. I choose to believe that I'm supported, and I choose to believe that I can be successful. I choose to believe that the solutions are all around me and will show up. I choose to be grateful for what I have, and just really keep focusing. Best advice I can give you is focus on what you do want. And don't focus on what it is you don't want. So if the situation you're in right now is not something you want, stop talking about it, stop thinking about it, stop mulling over the details of the story, and start thinking about, what is it that I do want? How does it feel to have that life? And watch things just magnificently begin to transform for you, and things begin to show up for you. And all of us on this call can testify to that. And if you have a story like that, please do drop that for us in the comments below as well. But ladies, I think that brings us to the end of the session. We don't want to take up too much of your time, guys. So firstly, thank you to the mentors and coaches of G Club, to Elizma, to Mariette, and to Natalie, who's joining us for the live. Thank you for your guidance and for your time, and for always being willing to sow into other people's lives, guys. I know that all of us are having difficulty with time right now, never mind everything else. We're also humans, and we also face all the stuff that other people face. So I thank you and I honor you for that. To all of you guys who have joined us, this was the first step. Attending something like this, asking for help, being willing to change the way things are and the way you think and the actions you've been taking up to now really is the first step. So I honor every single one of you for joining. And this video will still be posted on the group after this live watch video. So if you're watching it later or something comes to mind that you still want to ask for guidance or help about, pop it in the comments below, give us some feedback and let us know how you guys are doing, and use this group to motivate, support, encourage, uplift, guide, all of that stuff each other, because every single one of you has life experience and you can help somebody else. So ladies, thank you. I appreciate you. And that's me for today. Anything else you guys want to say before we go? Not just bye to everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks so much. We'll see you all again soon. Hey there, G Clubbers. If you are ready to create a life with unshakable freedom and joy, then join myself and Coach Elizma, who was on this live session tonight, for a free webinar this coming Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. It is really going to be the most transformational 40 minutes of your life. We'll be sharing the 5 key secrets to creating a life of unshakable freedom and happiness. So if that is you, if you want to join us on this free webinar, there's limited seats. To book your seat, just click on the link that will be added to this video straight after the live watch party. And we look forward to seeing you there.